This is the plaintiff, Wendy Cooper. She says she and her neighbor, the defendant, don't get along, to say the least, and things got out of hand. She even tried to get an order of protection against the lady because she's a loose cannon and couldn't go off at any time. Bottom line, the woman harassed her and her dog mercilessly. She's been harmed psychologically and is suing for $4,975 for harassment. This is the defendant, Melanie Carducci. She says the plaintiff's nothing but trouble, and living next to her was like a nightmare that never ended. The woman would start confrontation after confrontation with her, and she felt like she was living in a jail because the plaintiff would videotape her through her windows. The plaintiff's a nuisance and is continuing to be a nuisance with this lawsuit because it has no merit. She's accused of being a nasty neighbor.
All parties, please raise your right hand. You seated? Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Wendy Cooper. Here. You are suing Melanie Carducci for $4,975 exactly in harassment. Okay.
Correct.
What is your relationship to each other?
I moved in on the same property where she was previously living. It's about an acre property, and she lives a house down the hill, and I'm up the hill, basically a driveway separating us and the hill.
Okay, so, and are you two the only ones at the time who lived on the property?
It's just me and the dog, and she has 2 children.
Okay, and how old are the kids?
6 and 8.
Okay. So what happened? Let me hear from you first.
Well, basically, I moved in on June 24th, and on the night of July 7th...
Why is your dog here?
He's a service dog. He's a therapy dog, and he was attacked, as I was, by her 2 pit bulls on the night of July 7th. He is a licensed, registered therapy dog. I have PTSD issues, so he protects me first and foremost, but then we also go into nursing homes and hospitals and so forth as a therapy dog for other people.
Okay. All right. So go on.
So on the night of July 7th, we came home about 9 o'clock. Her 2 pit bulls came out of her house up the hill, attacked him, and attacked me. And it was a horrendous, vicious attack by these 2 dogs. One of them was put down. The other one remains alive today and viciously comes out, even though she's under a restraining order for that dog to be muzzled or leashed at all times. She does not do so.
Okay, slow down. That happened in July.
Mm-hmm.
Your dog survived the injuries.
Thank God, yes.
And the pit bull, were they 2 pit bulls or 1 pit bull?
There was 1 pit bull involved that actually, I was doing my homework and I had the window open because it was July, and she went right through the screen. It was it was horrible. And I agree, and, you know, but that's being dealt with in civil court, so I'm not sure.
She's suing you in civil court for that?
For $15,000.
$15,000?
Yeah.
Okay. With a lawyer or without a lawyer?
She has a lawyer for that.
Okay. So you have a separate lawsuit with a lawyer for...
That's for the injury, Your Honor.
For what injury? The injury you just told me about?
For the injuries to the dog and to me. My hand was injured. I've had 2 surgeries on it since the attack. So that's a separate issue.
Just out of curiosity, though, you've had 2 surgeries on your hand due to the attack?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And whose decision was it to put the pit bull down?
It was mine. I didn't have to. They told me I had to quarantine her for 14 days, but it was horrible. Yeah. I was the one involved in the fight, but how she got her injury, she was not involved. She was hitting the dog with her purse.
Well, so, I mean, she either has injuries or doesn't, has had surgery or hasn't.
The insurance company had it in their fraud unit, so that tells something.
How do you know that?
Because I'm in contact with the owners of the property. We're both being sued, me and the owners of the property.
Okay. Before the attack, did you 2 get along?
Before the attack, I'd just been there 2 weeks, and we were starting to become friendly. The first day that I was actually there, I had a tie-down out in the yard for him, and this dog, the one that remained alive after the attack, the one that did the terrible damage to his rump, stitches 3 levels deep, was done by the dog that remained alive. So there was definitely 2 dogs involved in the attack.
What about the landlord? Didn't the landlord get upset and say...
The landlord did not tell me anything. I never had a problem before this. There was people living there before that had a golden retriever. My dogs got along great with that dog.
So this happens, and what goes wrong that you consider harassment? Tell me about the instances of harassment that ensue after this.
It was she would have her dog, the one that remained alive, out all the time without a leash or a muzzle, and here's the restraining order that was issued by Animal Control on that animal that said it had to be leashed and muzzled anytime it came out of the house that it had attacked.
Let me see that.
Her dog would come over and poop all over my yard where I'd have to get out of my car. Her son would yell up to the window where he could see the dog and wave at this dog because my dog could see him out the window just to get him aggravated.
But
and basically,
she would be videotaping us so my kids would wave at her because every time we stepped outside, she would be videotaping us from the window. So we would wave to her. People would come, my parents, she'd be videotaping them from the window. That's harassment.
But what made it get this bad?
She's crazy.
Okay. but okay, was it because of the attack in July that
That's
it got?
all.
That's why it got that bad afterwards?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I presume you were apologetic. She knows you put the dog down.
I felt horrible. Yeah. I mean, I
So
offered to get her prescription for the her medication and everything, and she just went downhill from there. It just got horrible. She called the cops on me all the time.
Okay, how many times did you call the police on her?
at least 3 or 4. Well, every time she would release that dog out, which she did, she would release it out in the evening when I'd come home. I came home one night in October with somebody else driving. We came in, it was dark. She released that dog out, and he screamed at me, "Get in the car, get in the car," because she released the dog. She got angry when she was served with eviction papers by the landlord.
Oh, were you evicted?
The town was seizing the property because there's 2 houses or a barn and a house on one property. Nobody could live in the barn. So I had just moved in, and the town was on me. They were seizing the property because nobody can live there. It can only be a business.
May I see the eviction papers?
I don't have the eviction papers.
Okay. Let's discuss the animal restraint order. According to what she just handed me, shall be securely muzzled when on its own property, except when confined in your residence. Can't be loose at any time on or off your property unless securely muzzled. Mm-hmm. Okay, after you were served with this, did you let the dogs...
I bought a muzzle. The muzzle didn't work, so I had him on a leash.
Okay, so the answer is yes, the dog was unmuzzled, but according to you, on a leash. And I presume that the reason that you're being videotaped is because, according to you, I'm going to see videotape of the dog roaming around, neither with a leash nor with a muzzle.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Can we put that up on the screen, please?
There's the dog right there, I believe. Yep, right there. Running around.
Yeah.
On a leash.
Okay, but why is that okay? Why are you saying yeah? Why is that
Okay, no, it's okay.
It was never enforced that I had to have the
That's
dog
okay.
on a leash.
Here,
I lived
sit.
there for all that time
My
until
dear,
I was served with
here's
the
the animal
order.
restraint order.
Right. When I was served with that, I put my dog on a leash.
It's okay. Hey, sit.
I'm just asking whether you followed the restraint order or not. That's the basis of a
Yes, I
harassment
did.
claim. Right, except for that you're telling me, well, I had her on a leash but not a muzzle, and that's already not following it. Were these all taken on the same day?
No, they were not, Your Honor.
Did either of you ever seek the assistance of the landlord to try to figure this out?
I did speak with the landlord, and her response to me was, Melanie's dog, Melanie's problem, quote unquote. The landlord and she were not on the best of terms when she stopped paying the rent, so.
Was it non-payment of rent, or was it the rezoning? Or the zoning?
I stopped paying rent in August because they were seizing the property, and I had to save money
When
to
did
get
you
a new
move out?
place. December.
December.
Yep.
So for the months of August, September, October, November, and December, how many times did you see the dog out and not muzzled?
Every day.
Every day?
Every day, yes, ma'am.
And every day did you call the police or animal control to come and get the dog?
No, I did not. Animal control told me that he wrote the restraining order, but he could not enforce it unless
to go to
he
court to
actually
enforce it.
saw it.
Right.
I did take out protective orders, and basically what the judge told me was the protective orders for civil don't cover a dog being used as a weapon, basically. Even though she...
Well, I don't know if it's rational to say the dog was being used as a weapon.
I was terrified.
I think she hates you and is happy to put you in distress if that's what you're... I think that she feels like you are making her life hell, so she's returning the favor. I can also see that the dog is out a lot. Did you abide by this order, or did you let the dog out anyway?
I did. The dog was out sometimes without a muzzle or a leash. Majority of the time,
But I mean,
the dog was on a
why
leash.
is that okay when there's been an attack already on your property? Why does she have to live terrified that if she's getting in and out of her car, because I'm watching your dog on the tapes. Your dog is scary.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So what do you do to break the tension in a neighborhood war?
Well, you just go next door and try to make peace. I think that's the best thing you can do in a situation like this.
That's not a bad answer. What do you say?
Communication is key.
Okay, but remember, you are at war, so something happened.
Smile, try to make the best of every day.
Just smile. Going inside the courtroom.
I do not want to have that dog and nothing in between me and the dog. So why is it okay for you to do that after what has happened?
No, it's not. But there's been numerous things that have happened.
Like?
Okay. Well, there was many altercations that she would say stuff to my kids.
Tell me.
She began to yell, and she said to me, do your kids know how much you've been arrested? And this is none of her business.
Do you happen to have an arrest record?
I do, but that's...
So it means that she researched you.
Absolutely.
And then yells in front of your kids. Do your kids know how many times you've been arrested? Okay, did that happen?
Yeah, she's got 8 or 9
Ma'am,
convictions.
do you hear my question?
Yes, ma'am.
My question is, did you say to her in front of her children, so her 8- and 6-year-old children could hear it, do your children know how many times you've been arrested?
Her children were in the car. She was passing by. I said it to her, not to the children.
Why would you say it to her?
Because
for a person who doesn't want to be harassed, it sounds to me like you're adding fuel to the fire.
She constantly harassed me. It got to the point where I felt like I couldn't even come out of my house. My whole summer I spent in the house because I was...
And you are suing for, how do you come up with the figure $4,975?
Well, actual medical charges not related to the injury that happened. That's separate. This is due to anxiety and distress, neurological workup, so on and so forth, came to about $13,000. And all this just heightened the anxiety and the distress for me.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying, but here's the part I don't get. If you really don't want to keep this feud going, then why do you stand in a window with the recorder, and why do you sue her after she moved out?
It was actually filed...
because it sounds like it doesn't sound like either of you want to keep peace. It sounds like both of you hate each other and want to up it one more and one more. That's how it sounds to me. However, all I need to see is, did in fact you, in complete violation of the animal restraint order, continuously let the dog out when you knew she didn't want you to, and you keep doing it? You had the dog roaming loose every day as though this hadn't happened. And that's not okay. You don't have that right. That's worth something. Okay? I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff, not in the amount that she's asking for, but in the amount of $2,000. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
All right, so $2,000 for the plaintiff, harassment. What's your reaction?
I just want her to leave me alone. That's my reaction. I don't think she deserves it, but she harassed me just as much as I harassed her. I'm just glad it's over, and I'm out of there, and...
Okay, all right. Yep. Head right down this way. Yes, right in here. Come on in.
Thank you.
What do you think about how the judge saw this verdict for you?
I think the judge did a great job understanding that when an order is issued, it needs to be complied with, and knowing the viciousness of the attack and how aggressive that dog is, I think she ruled in the proper way. Mm-hmm. When you're harassed every single day, it makes it kind of hard to live. I couldn't even come out and enjoy the summer because I was afraid she would release that dog, as she did several times, and the dog attacked. It came up and it aggressively came after us.
Take it, Harvey.
Okay, so I would just want to say something to you. If you hate somebody to the point where all you do is think about how much you hate them, you lose. So you should think about that. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.